I'm kind of boring. I've always used Twitter.com.
Me too.
Twitter
Twitter.com?
apps. And
Is that not what we're supposed to do? That's
it's really good. Yeah, I did one account.
yeah,
so
we
it's a
only
little-
have one
it's-
account,
So
that's
doing
right.
multiple accounts, and also there's sort of in the early days there was sort of the threshold, API threshold, not allowing for a certain number of tweets and retweets. So I like the Twitter.com application. It's gotten a hell lot better over the years.
Yeah.
But so you would recommend for a new Twitter user to start with Twitter and kind of just go from there?
Yeah, start with Twitter, and for any new user, I would suggest just going to search.twitter.com, do a search for a topic you're interested in, and just watch the conversation, sort of like being in real life and listen to conversation. You don't want to talk to that group, but at one point you're going to see something being talked about that you want to jump in on and give your advice or give your opinion on. So I think it makes it less scary than just being no one else in the world on Twitter and what do I start with?
Mm-hmm. And Hadley?
We just use Twitter.com too, but we only have @UrbanGrape. I mean, I know a lot of places would do. We're very atypical this way, I think, because we just have @UrbanGrape, whereas other people would have @UrbanGrape, the business account, and @Hadley Douglas, @TJ Douglas,
Right.
The only other person in our business that's allowed to have an active Twitter feed is our beer guy, which is @CraftBrewBen. Follow him if you're a geeky beer person. And we really control all of our Twitter activity through one account. And I think that that's worked very well for us, but I don't know if that's a model that would work for everybody.
And we'll come back to the multiple users versus one user
Yeah.
and the issue of control and how much you can say versus a whole team of people saying
Right.
one thing. Jeannie, what do you guys use for at 90 Plus Sellers?
So I'm a big fan of TweetDeck, which allows you to toggle between different users at once. I have my own personal Twitter account. That's kind of how I got started and got things rolling. And then, before I worked with 90 Plus, I actually worked with local chef Louis DeBacari on an event called Chef Louis Night, and he's recently opened Tavern Road over in Fort Point. And so, I've been privy to several different Twitter accounts and usually a couple different ones at once. And so just the ability to monitor mentions for every single account at once, which is a feature of TweetDeck or Hootsuite, or keywords, or it's just very easy to toggle between accounts. So if I open up my iPhone, I can say like, okay, I want this tweet to come from this person, from this brand. So. So it's just kind of very user-friendly in that way. So if you have one or two or 6 different Twitter accounts, then it's a really, really great tool to use to kind of monitor Twitter feeds as a business or multiple businesses.
Okay, so we have Twitter, we have TweetDeck, we have Hootsuite. Cassidy?
I'm going to bring in a new one. We use Hootsuite as well at Boloco. We have 21 locations of Boloco right now, so sometimes I want to send a tweet from all 21 locations. Sometimes I just want to send it from the main Boloco location or headquarters, the main Boloco Twitter account. So I use Hootsuite for that and also for scheduling some tweets. I think I have a tweet going out in a couple minutes while we're sitting here because there's an event that we're doing and I wanted to make sure that I remembered to tweet while I was sitting on this panel. We also use something called Desk.com, which is basically an aggregation service for any kind of customer feedback that you want to include. It can include voicemails, emails, tweets, Facebook posts. So when I first started at Boloco, they were on TweetDeck. I switched them to Hootsuite because I'm just partial to it for some reason. And then now we've been putting all the tweets into Hootsuite. So every single tweet that anyone says Boloco on Twitter, there's also a woman named Cecilia Boloco who was former Miss Universe. So those come in sometimes, and there'll be tweets in Spanish that I just delete, because I don't speak Spanish. So every single tweet that ever says the word Boloco comes in as a case. So it makes sure that I respond to it or someone, because it won't go away unless someone actually opens the tweet and resolves it or responds to it or deletes it for some reason. So as we grow as a company, it's just one way to make sure that we actually are responding to everybody and not letting anybody slip through the cracks.